The 2025 NHL season is coming to an end, and it's only fitting that it gives us a chaotic finish. We saw a comeback that has never been done in NHL history. You got teams tearing each other apart to get into the playoffs, fans are hunting down players at the airport, and the fate of franchises are being decided. The script for this finish is not disappointing, so let's take a look at what really happened in Week 27 of the NHL season. Monday, Ranger disaster. With the Montreal Canadiens being the team to temporarily run away with the last wildcard spot in the East, the Rangers need one bad, being 6 points behind. But like it's gone all year for New York, they put up a stinker when they need it most. Nikita Kucherov, the forgotten MVP, puts up another casual three-point night again, and he's got more three-point games this season than he does with games without a point. What a sick individual. The Rangers lose 5-1, and the fallout is a mess. Afterwards, Coach Peter Laviolette was asked if he had a message to the team at this stage, to which he responded, "I've got no message right now. I don't go into the locker room after the game." Herb Brooks would be disgusted, Rangers fans are livid, and the circus that is the New York Rangers season looks like it's going to end with them missing the playoffs despite being less than a year removed from going to the conference finals. Most of the noise on Monday was out west though. The Blues' run of never losing again has finally come to an end, and it was to the hands of the very team that they may meet in the first round in the Winnipeg Jets. The Blues' offense has been dynamite in this run, but the Jets' defense put on the clamps and win 3-1. The Oilers and Kings both lose to toilet bowl teams as they try and dial in before playing each other in round number 1. But how about Quinton Byfield with this goal? One hand and bats it down and then scoops it in like he's got a mini stick. Tidy work, but you still lose to Seattle, so skip the post-game beers. Now, in the West, there's only one team that looks like they can pull the rug and sneak in. Right now, it looks like it's probably the Calgary Flames. Lovely time of the year to be playing the Sharks, I tell ya, and even though it wasn't pretty, they still had Dustin Wolf putting on his usual show, and the Flames pick up the 2 points to sit 5 back of Minnesota. It's a long shot, but the two go head-to-head this week on Friday, and if Calgary wins, things will get interesting. Tuesday, historic comeback. Destiny was in the air tonight for some teams, and with the East wildcard being in the shape that it's in, a Habs versus Red Wings game holds a lot of weight. Habs fans were on cloud 9 coming into this game, seeing that the highly anticipated Russian prospect Ivan Demidov signed a contract to join the team down the stretch. Could be a huge add if they make the playoffs, but it looked like the hangover hit the Habs early. First period, Detroit outshot them 23-4, but Sammy Montembeault, brick wall back there, baby. Then Destiny arrives. Puck takes a weird hop, wide open cage, and JT Compher misses. It actually looks like Caden Gooley gets a stick on it, just a little dust particle on the stick to deflect it high and wide. Red Wings fans again, I don't know how you do it with this team. Playoff hopes on the line in a tied game, and that happens. Destiny has spoken. Habs take the lead and don't look back. 4-1 win, and they build an 8-point cushion over the Red Wings, Rangers, and Blue Jackets. It's not official, but I think the Habs are getting into the dance, and because of that win, they actually clinched the Sens their first playoff spot since 2017. Finally, the Sens fans are right about their team taking the next step. Those sickos can shut up and enjoy the ride because you know what? They deserve it after the last 8 years of misery. Now, considering the time of year, I would usually totally ignore the toilet bowl teams, but damn it, they were undeniable on Tuesday. First, the Buffalo Sabres. Best damn lottery team in the world. Games don't matter, and everyone becomes Wayne Gretzky or Dominik Hasek. James Reimer picks up another 33-save shutout. He's been unbelievable as of late. Tage Thompson has 44 goals, scores again, and they do it against the Hurricanes of all teams. Thank God that city has Josh Allen, but it is such a shame because Buffalo has some sick pieces like they always do, but putting it together, no bueno. They just can't do it. Meanwhile, Boston is out here putting up a touchdown against New Jersey, and Pasta is serving his third straight 100-point season. Let me tell you, the Bruins may stink, but the season that Pastrnak is having on that team is MVP worthy. A monster season wasted in Boston. The blowouts continue too. Shout out Tristan Jarry for shutting out the Hawks 5-0. My drunk uncle could probably do the same with road hockey pads, but hey, Jarry's good performance probably avoids him getting sent to Shanghai yet again. And guess what? Yes, another Sidney Crosby goal. There was also a big tilt in the Atlantic, with all the tinfoil hat conspiracies that Leaf fans were coming up with, saying that the Florida Panthers were were intentionally tanking to play them in round one. The Panthers said, sure, buddy, watch us run your show for 60 minutes. They double up Toronto in shots and overwhelm them on the forecheck to snap their 5-game losing streak and make things quite tight in the Atlantic. The first round matchups there remain completely up in the air. Also, so are the Islanders' chances of making the playoffs. Sunday, they're on the wrong side of history by letting Ovi set the record against them. And today, the Preds of all teams rip their soul from their chest. The Islanders have a 6-4 lead with just over 2 minutes left, and the Preds score twice to tie it up, and Svechkov, game winner. The choke may cost Lou his chance in the dance as the Preds win a 7-6 defensive masterclass. Now, if you want to talk choke, get ready to hear this. With Utah royally spanking the Kraken, the Canucks are in win-out mode. This one was wild. Check this out. Canucks are down 4-2. They pull the goalie and, well, they get scored on. That's it, fellas. 5-2 game. That's the season. Pull the tendy with under a minute left. You got nothing to lose. And wait a second. Here's one. Atu Ratu makes it 5-3. Okay, maybe there's something cooking here. 30 seconds later, Suter scores. Oh my, here we go. 9 seconds, desperation galore. Suter again. Johnny on the doorstep ties the game. They score 3 goals in under a minute to force OT, and they complete the comeback with the OT winner. Oh my, what a comeback, what a choke. However way you look at it, that was absolutely nuts. The camera pans to Coach Pete DeBoer, and he is livid. The Canucks become the first team in NHL history to overcome a 3-goal deficit in the final minute of the game and finish the job. It is a long shot. But can you imagine if the Canucks get in? This would be the moment that changed it all. I know I'm playing with the heartstrings of Canucks fans, but come on. You gotta have some hope, or else what's the point of all this? As for Dallas, fellas, you better get on that red line and start skating until you puke your guts out. That is an unforgivable choke that we've never seen in NHL history, and it comes to a team that they should beat 10 times out of 10. Wednesday, Wild West. Finally, the hospitalized Wild are no longer hospitalized. Joel Eriksson back in the lineup, and after 2 very long months for Minnesota, so is Kirill Kaprizov. Should be a total massacre in San Jose. Instead, it was a heart attack. Macklin Celebrini, kid sick. He gets a hat trick and 5 points in this game. At one point, the Wild had a 3-goal lead in the third, but the Sharks don't give up. They score 2, and in the last minute of play, the Fresh Prince of San Jose, Will Smith, ties it up in the dying seconds. Wild fans can't believe it. They're saying to themselves, how are we fumbling this to San Jose? Not to mention their playoff lives are still very much at stake. They've been fearing that they're going to fall out of a playoff spot, and they're doing this, but that's when the hero steps up. Kirill Kaprizov back from the dead and on the board for the OT winner. Minnesota loves it. 8-7 beer league classic. Eriksson also got 4 goals in this game. No big deal as the Wild escape the choke and get 2 very much needed points. Minnesota wasn't the only team to put up 8 goals either, as Philly dummies the Rangers. Tyson Forrester leads the charge with a hat trick as all but 2 Flyers forwards record a point in this one. The Rangers have just completely fallen apart, and it shows. Then down in Tampa, we've got a huge divisional matchup between the Leafs and Lightning. Tampa wants that top spot, and the Leafs are looking to bounce back after getting worked by Florida. Now, before the game, Matthew Nyes, the 22-year-old, called out himself and his teammates, saying that the Leafs played a little bit soft. Now, anytime you say the 4-letter word in hockey, especially about your teammates, you better back it up, and did he ever deliver? Hat trick on the night, including the game winner. You can tell he was buzzing by going between the legs on this 2-on-1 prior to the goal. Yeah, it's probably not the best play, but who cares? They won, and it takes balls. Gotta love it. Don't enjoy it too much, though, Leaf fans, because there's probably an offer sheet coming his way very soon. However, you can enjoy the 3-point division lead for now. Then we had the return of the Alberta Messiah. Connor McDavid is back, and we also get a sprinkle of the old Jordan Binnington. He jumps Corey Perry like he owes him money, and we got some tilts with everyone jumping in. That's what I like to see. Bring me the hate. Let's go. McDavid, though, he's still working his magic. 3 assists in his return, including this one with just 19 seconds left as the Oilers go Connor to Connor, McDavid to Brown for his second of the night. St. Louis loses their second in a row, and who knows? Maybe they never win again. Just kidding, but moving on to the Flames, who are in pure desperation. They are the only team left with a chance to sneak into the West wildcard spot. 2 points would be a non-negotiable against Anaheim, but something's in the water tonight. 3-1 lead late in the third for Calgary, and they blow it. Cutter Gauthier, do we know him from a hole hole in the wall yet? You bet your ass Calgary does. He scores 2 and the OT winner to put a dagger in the playoff hopes of Calgary to end Wednesday. Thursday, Ovi appreciation. Back from double fisting beers after becoming the all-time goal-scoring king, Ovi's in Washington to celebrate him making history. But this game also has some heat to it. Why? Well, because the last time Carolina and Washington met, Jalen Chatfield gave an all-time Russian leg sweep to Connor McMichael during a tilt. No penalty, no suspension. Coach Rod Brindamore went to bat for the guy in Carolina, but the Caps were not happy with that kind of play, and they knew there needed to be an answer. So Brandon Duhaime goes right at him and says, "We're doing this." The two stand on business. You got to give a couple stick taps to Chatfield for answering the bell and not backing down. We got to respect that here. Now, the Caps want to get back into the win column, and look at Ovi, just out here decking guys like he's in his early 20s. The Russian machine never breaks, and the Caps take the revenge game in a shootout. Moving on, we got to talk about the Rangers again. After getting walked the other night, they take it all out on the Islanders. Both New York teams have been embarrassed this season, but here's a new one. Islanders are going to pull Holberg for rookie goalie Tristan Lennox after goal number 6. Then the Rangers get goal number 7, and Lou and Padiois say, "Yeah, I've seen enough. You're finished," and they send Holberg back to the crease. The rookie finishes the night with a 15 goals against average, and they lose 9-2. And honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if Padiois says screw it and goes in net himself for next game. Thursday also saw a lot of dumpster diving. Boston continues their all-time tank by letting Chicago score 4 goals in the third. That's impressive. Nashville does the opposite by beating Utah, while Vegas and LA beat their toilet bowl counterparts. Also, a very rare April loss was given to Buffalo at the hands of Columbus. However, the tough news is for Vancouver fans. Despite their once-in-a-lifetime comeback earlier this week against Dallas, the very next day, they were mathematically eliminated. So, I apologize for the jinx there, but Vancouver ultimately takes a gigantic step back, missing the playoffs this season. It also looks like Brock Besser is going to walk the free agency, and there's some rumors swirling around Coach Rick Tocchet. Either way, change is coming. Now, the real kick in the nuts is that they actually played one hell of a game against the Avs, holding McKinnon off the stat sheet and winning 4-1. Too bad it just didn't matter. Maybe they should bring back JT Miller next season. Also, just kidding. But speaking of Dallas, some red flags are popping up as of late. Coming off the biggest choke of the regular season, they get shut out by the Jets. A little bit concerned if you're a Stars fan, especially because Miro Heiskanen probably won't be ready for round 1. As for the Jets, Connor Hellebuyck may very well be the first goalie to win MVP since Price did it in 2015. The sicko leads the NHL in goals against, save percentage, wins, and shutouts. I mean, come on. The MVP race is really tight, but what Connor Hellebuyck has done for the Jets is really hard to match. We also saw Brad Marchand finally get his first as a Panther. Don't care what anyone says, it still looks and feels wrong. The Panthers win, and Detroit fans get one step closer to being put out of their misery with the roller coaster that is this season. Friday, the end is near. We're getting down to the wire here, and we almost have everything finalized for who's making the playoffs. So with the Habs and Sens going mano a mano, a Montreal win clinches a playoff spot and sets things in stone. However, the Sens come out swinging. The Pinto Parlay must have had an anytime goal scorer within the first minute, because he scores 28 seconds in, and this had a playoff feel all the way through. You had your scrums breaking out, Gallagher's trying to throw around Timmy Stu, and then Pizzetta and Hodgson drop the gloves and square up for a good one. Playoffs in both of these barns would be insane, but the Sens just take care of business, and they hold Montreal to 4 shots in the third period and spoil their chance to clinch a playoff spot. Now, there's no need for Habs fans to panic just yet. They still have a 6-point lead for that last spot. Plus, they have Ivan Demidov coming. Habs fans were literally camping at the arrival section in Pearson to get a glimpse of him. No pressure or anything, kid, but you're stepping into the show when the lights are the brightest. Meanwhile, somehow, some way, the Detroit Red Wings stay alive in the playoff race. A loss in any fashion or a Montreal win eliminates them, but no, they didn't hear no bell. Marco Kasper, the friendly ghost, double dips with the OT winner and keeps the Yzer plan alive. You poor Red Wings fans, I promise you, it's almost over. The Devils, on the other hand, they're just counting down the seconds for the season to be over because they have known that they're going to be playing the Hurricanes in round one for a good portion of the last month. So Crosby and Malkin get in the DeLorean, dial back the clock, and both score to beat the Devils. New Jersey's been painfully mid down the stretch here. I know they're missing Jack Hughes, but that first round matchup is going to be tough. Out west, there's still some uncertainty to deal with. The Oilers can clinch a playoff spot with a win, so hell of a time to play San Jose, eh? Connor McDavid has a 4-point night. The guy's got 7 points in 2 games between injuries and 4 nations. This was an off year statistically for McDavid, but if he's healthy in the playoffs, everyone better strap in. Finally, the season was on the line for the Calgary Flames going up against the Minnesota Wild. If you win, you fight another day, but if you lose, get ready to book those tee times in Cabo. Now, like they have all year long, the Flames are dogs, man. They ain't pretty or fancy, but they work their bag off. They score 4 unanswered goals to set the tone. Things get a little hairy at the end, but they hold on and keep the dream alive. Minnesota isn't escaping the mild or mid allegations with their play, and now Calgary sits just 3 points back with a game in hand. Both St. Louis and Minnesota are looking over their shoulder, and even though the chances are still slim, for now, Calgary lives to fight another day. Saturday, Judgment Day. Today is the last chance for a lot of teams. One of them are the Columbus Blue Jackets. A must-win game against the Caps, great news. Ovi gets the day off for a little R&R. But the rest of the Caps, well, they still looked hungover. Jackets, 3 goals out of the gate and a little FU in the process. Watch Adam Fantilli here absolutely blow up Ryan Leonard. Welcome to the NHL, pal. And then Fantilli is going to come down and bury. Big dog stuff from him, and then the game just goes sideways. 5 different brawls take place, including Ryan Leonard getting back in the mix by dropping the gloves with Sean Corrali. The Caps were never in it. The Jackets come out and played like their lives depended on it because it did. 7-0 touchdown, and the Caps better figure it out. I know they're riding the emotional high of Ovi breaking the goal record, but if they don't figure it out, there could be an upset in round 1. Then Judgment Day comes for both New York teams. First, lose Islanders go into a shootout. The Flyers send out Bobby Brink. He comes to the rink and wins the game. That officially eliminates the New York Islanders. Does this mean the end of the Lou era on the island? Who knows, but I know it's time to book those tee times, Lou. Will it be the same fate for the Rangers? Well, season on the line, Rangers got to win out, and how fitting of them to lay one last egg for this mess of a season. 3-0 Carolina right out of the gate. They let them put up 7. Artemi Panarin is disgusted. Rangers fans are sick to their stomach because they are officially eliminated. They are only the 4th team in NHL history to win the President Trophy the previous season and then miss the playoffs the next. I also couldn't believe this stat when I heard it. For the first time in NHL history, the Rangers, Penguins, and Bruins all missed the playoffs in 1 year. Just an insane stat. However, all of it meant nothing if the Habs won in regulation and clinched the last spot. There's no Ivan Demigod just yet for Montreal, but there is a Jakub Dobeš. 0-0 barn burner all the way through, but Dobeš stands on his head, making 34 saves to get him at least a point. A single point doesn't make them clinch, and Mitch Marner is going to finish it in overtime. Montreal still has to sweat it out to end the season, but now the only team that can catch them are the Columbus Blue Jackets with a game in hand. The Leaf Parade is fully on with the division lead, and they needed it because Florida is right on their heels. Oh, would you look at that? They're doing exactly what the Panthers do best heading into the playoffs. They're riding a 3-game win streak after beating Buffalo. Then, how about Cole Perfetti in the shootout? A little Datsuk variation with a 5-hole finish. Close your damn legs, son. The Jets beat the Bedards in a shootout and clinched the first spot in the West. That means that Dallas and Colorado are a go, baby. Both teams lost on Saturday, but we're getting the Rantanen Bowl. And also, potentially, the return of Captain Gabriel Landeskog for the Avs. 2 years out with an injury, and he's on a conditioning stint for the Avs AHL club, and he scored this weekend. We got no clue what kind of version of Landeskog we're going to get in the NHL, but no matter what, it will be a massive boost for Colorado. Finally, both Minnesota and St. Louis could really bury Calgary's hopes of making it into the playoffs with a win tonight. One team does the job, and it's the Wild. The hospitalized Wild are now healthy, and the Canucks are going to unintentionally find a way to screw Calgary as Mats the Rat Zuccarello in OT, little backhand forehand, slick Rick ends it. They get a huge 2 points to build a little bit of a cushion. That means the Blues, well, they need to do the same. I was just joking at first, but is St. Louis ever going to win again? Because they need at least 1 or 2 more before the end of the season. They're able to at least get a point in the shootout, but they lose, which means that Calgary is still very much alive with a couple games in hand. St. Louis, after winning 12 in a row and setting a franchise record, have not won a game since. Could you imagine if they pull an Uno reverse and lose out and the Flames sneak in? It's not probable, but it is possible, and we may very well see it unfold. Sunday, the final pieces. With 9 games on for Sunday, everything is coming together. Some teams are playing for absolutely nothing except for a chance to screw up their tank job. At least that's how Boston fans feel after they beat Pittsburgh. Now, the Devils and Islanders doesn't matter either, but tell that to Adam Pelech. Watch this. Paul Cotter's shoulder goes square in the face of Adam Pelech, and he starts losing it. Leaking and everything. Rough couple of days to be an Islander. Rough finish to the season, but hey, at least they shut out the Devils. Meanwhile, the rest of the Atlantic is still playing musical chairs with where they finish. Timmy Stu for the Sens says how you like the 1T on one knee and gets the winner against the Flyers. That means that the Sens clinch the wild card 1 spot, and with the Leafs and Tampa both winning their games, it'll be either one of those 2 teams meeting Ottawa in round 1. Barring any classic Leaf choke, all they do need is just 1 more point to win the division, and we're all locked in for that Battle of Ontario. Habs fans, though, palms are getting sweaty. First, Columbus is the only team that can catch them, but they run the Cap show on Saturday, and even though Ovi's out here adding on to his record, Adam Fantilli may be becoming the most hated man in Montreal. He scores another 2 goals, and Columbus needs to run the table, and so far, they've done just that with their 4th win in a row. Now, the Habs just need 1 point against the Chicago Bedards on Monday to clinch, but you never know what can happen. Also, congratulations to the Winnipeg Jets for being the President Trophy champs. Unfortunately, with the way things have worked lately with the President Trophy, that does mean that they've been preemptively eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's been 15 years since a President Trophy winning team has won the Cup. They're looking to change that, but first, they got to know who they're meeting. And so we go to Calgary. Backs against the wall. If they lose, they're out. But what a great day to play the Sharks. 2-2 game, and Igor Sharangovich has a legacy game. Break the tie, gets the empty netter, and Calgary wins for the 3rd time in 4 games to pull within 2 points of St. Louis for the 2nd wildcard spot. The Flames will just not go away, and it is coming down to the wire in the final days for an electric finish. So, what did you think of this week? Who disappointed you? Who pissed you off? Who do you think makes it in the wild card? Let us know in the comments down below. And yes, we will be dropping a playoff preview video for every single series. That includes how each team will expose each other in the 1st round. So, keep an eye out on the channel, turn on notifications, and subscribe. We are literally right on the goal line here for 250,000 subscribers. You're all incredible. I love you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and get ready for the NHL playoffs.